I'm going to turn 41 this week, and I don't know why you're cheering for that. No, thank you. But I've realized since about mid-30s, when you can do anything and hurt yourself. Last Sunday, I wore the wrong shoes, and Monday I could barely walk. And so I'm trying to stay off my foot this week, and so I'm going to be this little thing today. But I might not stay here. We'll see what happens. I might get excited to stand up and walk around, but I'm going to try and be at least as much as I can, sit a little bit, and hopefully get better for next week. If you have those moments in life where you're like in the room and the TV is on, you don't plan to watch it, but you kind of just get drawn into whoever's playing on the TV. There's this meme around the internet of the classic like dad on the side of the room, swears he doesn't want to watch, I'm going to bed, not interested. And he kind of works his way across the room. And he's like leaning on the chair. And then he's sitting on the armrest. And then he's sitting down in the chair fully, just totally locked into whatever's on the TV. I had one of those moments in my own life. It was a few years back now. I was on vacation with my family, and we were just hanging out as a family doing stuff. My sisters and their kids, a whole crew of us, so a little bit chaotic. We're making lunch, and the TV was on. And I found myself drawn into this show. The longer I watched, the more I was just sucked in. And it was the movie Dances with Wolves, the 90s classic with Kevin Costner. If you haven't seen it, it's probably still good. I don't really remember. But it's a classic for a reason, right? I don't remember much of the movie, but I do remember this one scene. It stuck with me ever since that day, probably even 10 years ago now. There was this moment where there's a group of men, they're sitting around in a circle, they're talking, and it's this group of tribal leaders, they're meeting in a teepee. And these native men, they're talking and having a discussion, and one of them shares this really important, meaningful moment. And the tribal elder, he looks around the teepee, and he says, "Wind in his hair has spoken straight. His words are strong, and I have heard them." And in the middle of all that was happening in the house, the chaos and controlled screaming and the fun that was being had, those words pierced me. Not just listening, but hearing. How often do we speak and wondering if anyone actually heard what we had to say? We don't just want to speak, we want to be heard, right? I have this friend who, whenever they're going to start a conversation or speaking to a group, they always open up with the phrase, "Hey guys." And every time they say it, I don't hear it just as a grab for attention. I hear it as a question. Like, is anyone out there going to listen to me? Because my sense is that they're used to being talked over, used to being maybe overlooked, or feeling like the things they have to say, maybe just no one really cares about that much. Because for some people, for a lot of us, having a conversation isn't just about being heard, it's about feeling loved. There's this beautiful prayer in the Psalms written by a king named David, and he says this. He says, "Lord, you've searched me and you know me. You know when I sit and when I rise. You perceive my thoughts from afar. You discern my going out and my lying down. You are familiar with all of my ways. Before words on my tongue, Lord, you know it completely." In this whole chapter, he goes on and on and on. And there's this sense that the author, David, just has a God that truly knows him, that really knows him deeply. In his book that we've been kind of referencing, the seven primal questions, Mike Foster says that to feel loved is to be known and seen and heard. When you experience those things, not just as this service, but genuinely experience them, you feel loved. When you don't experience them, something deep inside you begins to ask, the question. You may not be walking around asking, am I loved? Although you might ask that. But maybe you wonder, does anyone actually listen to me? Does anyone actually see me? Does anyone truly know me? And for some of us, when we think about, am I loved? If we ask it in some of those terms, maybe we begin to ask it a little more often than we would like to think, or more often than we would hope. I had this chemistry teacher in high school, and on his wall, he had this poster. Whenever I was awake, I would look at it and think about it. And it had a quote and a picture of this French philosopher named Descartes. And he was like thinking about these wild existential questions of the universe. Is this real? Do I exist? Am I actually here? Am I just living in a dream? And one of his famous quotes is, I think, therefore I am. And I guess it's a good question, sure. But most of us, we don't walk around asking this kind of question, like thinking, do I even exist? Is this world real? Are we living in the Matrix? But we might ask, like on a more personal level, do I exist to other people? Do other people see me? And some of us carry this sense or this feeling that all we are is just matter, walking through space and time and through our school hallways or through our lunchrooms or through the messy house or driving the kids all around town, that we're just existing. Just carbon life forms are made up of these atoms and just beings not really being seen. Just a body in the room or a voice amongst all the noise that exists in our world. And when we're not sure that we matter, when we begin to wonder these things, we begin to adjust ourselves, change the way we live and breathe and interact with the world. Maybe we stay useful so we're not forgotten. Or maybe we get loud so people won't dismiss us. Or maybe do what we're told and try not to rock the boat, not upset anybody, so we don't kind of push them away, looking to be seen and heard and known. But I want you to hear today that in the midst of all the noise around us, even if you're feeling like all I am is just skin and bones and flesh and science, that you actually truly matter today. You are more than just the things that make you up, but you truly, deeply matter. We came through the holidays not too long ago. It was Christmas, obviously, and I love the holidays. It's a great time of year, just the vibes and the feelings. It's just fun, snow, and part of that is like gift giving, obviously. But as you get older, gift giving isn't quite the same as it was when you were a kid. My family, I've got 3 sisters. I'm married. They're all married. So there's 8 adults among us. And we decided a few years back that trying to give 7 other gifts just feels like a lot. Especially, it's about the kids really anyway. And so what we do is we do a secret Santa thing. You put the names in a hat, you draw a name out, you pick one person to give your gift to. Well, we did that, and we've done it for a while. And this year, we switched to using an app because there's apps for everything. So our Secret Santa app, we put our names in, we got assigned a name to give the gift to. And inside that app, there was actually a wish list feature, which is cool. You can see what they want, what they're actually looking for Christmas. And as I began to think about this, looking at my person's wish list, I was thinking to myself, this is cool, but also I kind of hate it. I don't want to just give them what's on their wish list, even though they might want it. What I want to do, the best gifts out there, are the gifts that are really unique to them. Make you feel like you thought about them, not just like the socks or the things that they need, but the things that let them know that you cared. And my Secret Santa this year was my youngest sister, Jessie. And in my gift, when I opened it up, she had given me three things that, if you know me, are all about the things that I love. She gave me 2 bags of boutique, locally roasted, light roast Ethiopian coffee that tastes amazing. I drank some this morning. It was still so good. She gave me a bottle of local hot sauce. It ended up being the perfect balance of sweet and spicy. It was so good. I put it on my eggs every day. It's delicious. And she gave me the newest book in this fiction series I've been reading for a while. When I opened the present, I didn't just think that's nice, although it was nice. What I thought to myself is that, she knows me. She knows the things that I like. She knows the things that I care about, that I'm passionate about. It was a gift that made me feel totally known because I was the worst brother and didn't even fill out the wish list. So she had nothing to go off of, but she just knew who I am. When I open a gift like that, you know that they care about you, that they know you and see you, and they hear you. They've been watching you. They're tuned into your life. I think moments like that, they stand out to us because they're just more rare than maybe we would hope. Not quite as often as we want them to be. So even though we're told we matter, or we have experiences here and there, we still can't help but wonder sometimes, is it true? But each and every one of us is wired for love, to be known and to be seen and to be heard. But when we don't feel those things, if it feels uncertain or it feels fragile, we begin to shift. We don't just do nothing. We actually make adjustments to our lives. We adapt. We start trying to get love from people, approval from people, try and be useful or stay needed, making sure that we're not forgotten. See, we never stop needing love. We start looking for it elsewhere in different places. And when love feels scarce, we start treating it like this thing that we have to earn. It's like if I do enough or give enough or manage myself enough, keep things steady, maybe then I'll be loved or receive enough love. But that's living in this love scarcity mindset. And scarcity turns love into a transaction. Turns love into this thing that we manage or perform for. And the problem with living in scarcity is that we never truly feel full, never truly feel loved. It's like trying to get love from people the way a sponge soaks up water. It can soak and soak attention, affirmation, approval, but still feeling dry. The issue is that people were never intended to be our entire source for love. They're meant to be our companions and our friends and our partners, but not our love sources. The answer isn't to stop loving people or stop giving people. It's to stop asking others to be our primary supply. Because the love we were created to live out of and to receive could never be earned in the first place. It was only meant for us to take it, to receive it from God. And God has given it to us in abundance. And abundance says that I am loved. I don't need to scramble for love. I don't have to chase after it or prove myself to earn it. Love isn't this thing you create or manufacture. It's something that you live from. The invitation of Jesus is to stop living from desperation and start living from this love overflow that he wants to give you. Listen to how the authors of Scripture experience the love of God. In Psalms, the author says, "The Lord is compassionate and merciful. He's very patient. He is full of faithful love. As high as heaven is above the earth, that's how large God's faithful love is for those who honor him. Like a parent feels compassion for their children, That's how the Lord feels compassion for those who honor him. Paul in Ephesians says this. He says, I ask that you'll have the power to grasp love's width and length and height and depth together with all believers. I ask that you know the love of Christ that is beyond knowledge. So you'll be filled entirely with the fullness of God. He's like, I know this love is more than you can even comprehend. It's higher and deeper and wider and longer. It's more than you can even get your mind around. But I pray that you would even get like a taste or the smallest like sense for what it's like and how great it is. And that's how we know God. That's how we're filled, by experiencing the love of Christ. And if we go all the way back to the beginning of our scriptures, the very first story that's told, before performance or before usefulness, before earning anything or scrambling for love, Genesis tells us that humans were created in the very image of God, and that image, that creation, was good. Genesis 1 says that God created humanity in God's own image. In the divine image, he created them. Male and female, he created them. God blessed them and said, be fertile and multiply. Fill the earth and master it. And God saw everything he made, and it was supremely good. Supremely good. Before we ever did anything or contributed or achieved or proved anything, God looked at his creation and said, that is good. And he loved it. You were created in the very image of, as a reflection of the divine being. Your identity could never was this thing you produced. It was always something that you reflected. God creates his beings in his very own image. And love wasn't the reward for getting it right or looking the right way. It was always the starting point. And your identity comes before your activity. Your worth comes before your work. And your belovedness comes before your behavior. That's what abundance looks like. When love's your starting point, you don't have to earn it. You live out of it. Then the next thing that God says in this verse, that the author says, is that God gives them a vocation. He says, go and make more of this image. Go make more image bearers. Not a job to perform, but a calling to live out, to multiply God's love and God's image in the world. Not just manufacturing, but mirroring the divine being. But when it feels scarce, that vocation can feel exhausting or overwhelming. But when love is abundant, that vocation becomes a thing of joy. Now, we aren't loving because we're trying to be accepted, but because we already are accepted. If you want to see what this looks like lived out, we can just look at the life of Jesus. I know that's like the obvious answer. We're in church, look at Jesus. But if we look at his life, he puts us on display for us. When you look at his life, it's a life lived out of abundance. I think one of the most important moments in his life that stands out to me is so crucial. It happens before he does really anything. Before he goes out and performs miracles, before he heals people, before he goes to the cross, before he has a following, before he has influence, he's baptized. When he comes up out of the water, a voice from heaven, his Father, God, says to him, "This is my Son, whom I dearly love, and I find happiness in him." Before he did all that he came to do, before he accomplished anything at all, before he gave of himself, God speaks this love over him. And I have to imagine is out of that moment, out of the fullness of the love of God over him, he's able to live out all that he came here to do. He lives from abundance, not from desperation. He doesn't heal people to be needed. He isn't trying to get approval. If you read the scriptures, it's pretty obvious. He's not trying to, let's see, kiss everyone's butts, but I just said it anyway. He's trying to live out of overflow. He isn't trying to be enough. He loves freely because he's already secure. He's already full. When he finally gives of himself, this ultimate death on the cross, it's the overflow of this love out of his life. Our whole last month, we talked about how God so loved the world that he gave. The giving is the outflow of love. It doesn't create it. And that's the invitation for us as well. What it looked like to have God look at you. To imagine for a moment, like if God were to show up today and sit in front of you and turn around and just say, "You make me happy." What would that feel like for you? Personally, I don't know how I'd respond to that. But I can't imagine a better feeling. But the truth is, that's what he does with his creation. We make him happy. We are his children, and he loves us. We bring him pleasure. He cares for us so much. When we receive God's love, not just intellectually, but like deeply, our lives begin to change shape. We stop using people to fill us, stop using people just reaffirm or secure love from other people. We stop exhausting ourselves trying to get things from people. But we begin to accept this love the way Jesus did and love the way that he did, not perfectly, but freely. Not to be accepted, but because we already are. Not from scarcity, but living from abundance and overflow. I think when we see this, like how love wasn't meant to be earned, it helps make sense of why we might feel so exhausted at times, or overwhelmed, or lonely, or lacking. Mike Foster, the author of that book, he says that people who wrestle with this question, am I loved? He says that we don't stop needing love, we just start settling for substitutes. He calls them scraps of love. Scraps, these partial moments where we feel something, get something, something's offered, but never really reaches the deeper parts to really feel known and seen and heard. And when love feels scarce, these scraps, they're better than nothing. Like if you're desperate for love, just longing, lacking, missing, you'll take what you can get. And so we adapt. We become these over-givers. We do things for people, not just because we're generous, but doing things helps us secure love from them. It feels like a safe way to get love. If I help enough, or if I show up enough, if I anticipate enough needs, maybe then I'll matter. But if the appreciation, the love doesn't come back for us, we get frustrated, we get snappy, we withdraw. We make these self-deprecating comments, hoping someone will reassure us that we matter. Love becomes transactional. If I do this for you, then you'll give me this back. And there are times, without even meaning to, without realizing it, we begin to manage or manipulate love. Not in this malicious way, but out of survival, just trying to hold on, to get by, to make it through because we're hungry, we're starving, we're looking for it. Just need enough affirmation to feel okay. Foster points out that one of the saddest things, I think, is many of the most loving people struggle the most to feel loved. They're constantly pouring out, but internally feeling empty. Because love sourced from scarcity just doesn't work. And to be clear, like love from people isn't bad. It's beautiful. We need it. We're created for relationship. We're meant to love one another and be loved by each other. But people can't be the primary source of our love. Human love wasn't meant to carry that kind of weight. And while it's real and necessary, it's still finite. When we rely on people to give us what only God can give us, it'll always feel insufficient. People are meant to be companions, not suppliers, signposts, not sources, reflections of God's love, but not replacements for it. We try to make people our source as opposed to our companions. We put a weight on them they were never meant to carry. Because no human can fully answer the question, am I loved for us? That's why this question matters today, not because you're broken or something's wrong with you, but because you never meant to live on these scraps of love. People aren't able to be your source. So our invitation today isn't just to love more, although it's good, but our invitation is to receive more. Receiving God's love has always been the starting point. Accepting our vocation, our image, the reflection that we're made from. And whether am I loved is your primary question, your primal question or not. Each of us still has to ask, where am I starting from? Am I starting from scarcity or am I starting from abundance? So when we start from scarcity, we often ask the wrong question. We say, well, how can I just love better? That's a fine question. But a better question is asking, where am I trying to get love from people as opposed to getting love from God? Who am I quietly making into my source of love? Who am I putting that weight on in my life? In what small, subtle ways am I trying to earn affirmation from people or earn love or feel known or feel heard and feel seen rather than receiving what's already been offered to me, poured out to me? And the good news today is that it's not selfish to need love, not selfish to receive love. You were made for it. You created for it. It's been poured out for you. But secondly, just realize that it's already been made available. It's already been given to you. So when you catch yourself trying to earn love or achieve love or prove your worth, especially in relationships, maybe just pause and ask yourself, what's my motivation right now? Why am I serving or giving back? Why am I showing love? Is it to get something from people, or is it an overflow of what's already been given to me? And if you're wondering, okay, that's great, but how do I actually get this love that you're talking about, that God is offering to me? Because I want that, but how do I get it? And we get glimpses of it through people, through experiences, through encountering moments with God. But ultimately, that fullness, that outpouring needs to come from God himself. It's about being with him and being open to his presence, being available to him. And honestly, part of it is just asking. Say, God, I want your love. I want to receive that overflow that you spoke over Jesus. I want to feel like I make you happy, like you love me. I've shared my own journey before with this a little bit, and it was a long path for me to believe this, to think it was true about me too, to accept that God loved me. And I just would pray and spend time with God day after week, just saying, God, help me to believe this is true. Help me to believe that you love me. Help me to be open to it, not because I had to convince him to give it to me, but because I had to convince myself that it was true. That I had to let him rework and rewire my brain and my thinking, reprogram me to actually be enabled to believe it personally. My prayer is that you be aware of the spaces where maybe you're still living out of scarcity and allow God to come fill you with his love overflow. Practice your time with him. Spend time with him in the scriptures, with his people, and allowing this truth to permeate your life, that you would truly believe that you are loved and let that overflow from you. God isn't holding love back from you, waiting for you to get it right. He's been pouring it out, and he wants you to have it. Those of us whose core question, if your primal question is, am I loved? When you begin to shift from asking, am I loved, to believing, I am loved, when you receive that love from the true source, what's amazing is you actually have this love superpower that allows you to see people more easily than the rest of us, to hear people more naturally, to help people feel more comfortable more quickly. People will be drawn to you. They'll sense the love coming from you, not because you're impressive, but because something divine is happening in you. You're reflecting God back to people. You're a taste of the divine image, a reflection of God's love. And when you do that, you actually put on display for the rest of us what it looks like to live out our core identity, what it looks like to reflect God's love back into the world. Because the invitation for all of us, truly, is to live into our vocation as image bearers, to reflect back the love that we've received into a world that's been shaped by scarcity, or that tells us that there is enough. We have to fight and claw for every bit of love we can get. We have to compete and perform just to belong. But what if we told a different story, an alternative story? What if we became people who embody Jesus in the way that we love? What if we could point to the one true source by the way we put his love on display? What if people met us, they met you at your office, at your school, at your home, down the street? What if they thought, the second they met you, man, when I'm with them, I just feel like they see me. When I'm with that person, I feel like I'm heard. When I'm with that person or those people, when I'm in that group, I feel like I'm known. They know me. What if we were the kind of people, the kind of church that as we're going out into the world and people are coming into our space, they just feel seen and heard and known, and in doing so, we point people to Jesus, the source of true love. Because more than just being a nice thing to do, we are divine image bearers. We get to reflect that image out into the world. And people will experience the divine experience of God by encountering us. That's what it looks like to live from overflow, to bear God's image into the world. When people feel known and seen and heard through us, they're experiencing the love of Jesus. We're going to take some time today to be part of a prayer practice. We've done it the past few weeks, and it's called 5 Prayers for 5 Minutes. And I know that for a lot of us, taking 5 minutes can feel like a lot, especially with life and jobs and kids and school, and you're like, where can I get 5 minutes? We're going to take it right now. And before we go on with our day or go on with the rest of whatever's happening, I just want us to pause and to allow God to speak to us today. If you're wondering how you can receive God's love today, this might be a step for you. To just be open and say, God, speak to me today. So to start, let's just take a moment. I'm going to be part of this with you. My hope is that I'll experience God's love in a fresh way, new way this morning. That as we open ourselves up to what he wants to say, we would just feel this and believe this. So maybe, how about this? Let's focus ourselves. Let's push those thoughts away from us that are about later or lunch or stuff going on tonight or tomorrow or this week. Let's be present for 5 minutes. Maybe you want to put your feet on the floor and feel the floor under you. Put your hands in your lap or touch your fingers together. Be aware of just who you are, your body in the room. Feel your eyes or your breathing. And we're going to work through what's called a breath prayer. There'll be 5 prompts on the screen, and I'll lead you through them. But we're going to speak some words today that I believe are true. And we're going to breathe in, inhale, and say one thing. Just be in your mind, that's fine. And exhale and say the other. Let's begin by just believing today, maybe hoping that God is here. I believe God's in this room this morning. I believe God's among us. Let's ask him to be aware of his presence today. So we'll say Emmanuel means and inhale. God with us. And exhale. Emmanuel means inhale. God with us. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's be aware that we are here today in this space. Be aware of our own presence, our own self in this moment. And with us is the presence of God. So we'll inhale and say, God is here. Exhale, I am here. God is here. Inhale. I am here. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Inhale. Exhale. Let's ask the question today. It's okay to ask it. Nothing wrong with that. Am I loved? Am I loved today? And just say, I am seen, and inhale. And I am known, exhale. I am seen, inhale. I am known, exhale. Maybe I'm heard as you inhale. I am known, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. I am seen. I am known. Release the question today. Receive what God has for you. Begin to believe that it's true about you personally, not the person next to you or who you'll be someday, but who you are right now. You are loved. And inhale and ask, am I loved? And exhale and say, I am loved. Inhale. Exhale. I am loved. Inhale. Am I loved? Exhale. I am loved. Inhale. Exhale. Lastly, recognize that our God goes before us. He goes with us. He's behind us. Wherever we're headed, he's already there. He's already aware of what's in front of you. You're going to inhale and say, God before me. Exhale, grace before me. Inhale, God before me. Grace before me. God before me, inhale. Grace before me, exhale. Inhale. Exhale. God, would you help us to believe this today? That we make you happy. You find pleasure in us, that you find joy in us. You dance over us. We're your beloved special creations. Help us to live from that overflow today. To close, we're going to say the Lord's Prayer together as a closing statement. Would you stand with me today and read it aloud with me as we go through this? Our Father in heaven, hallowed be your name. Your kingdom come, your will be done on earth as it is in heaven. Give us this day our daily bread, and forgive us our trespasses, as we forgive those who trespass against us. And lead us not into temptation, but deliver us from evil. This week, as you're maybe thinking about this question or last week's question, the week before, am I secure? Am I loved? If you want to keep praying this prayer practice and just keep meditating on that, we've got a digital copy for you. You can get texted to you. If you text the word prayer to the number behind me on the screen, it will shoot back an image saved to your photos. You can pull it up whenever you need to, maybe in the parking lot at work, in your break room, not annoying coworkers like in your face and you just need a moment. When your kids are screaming, you have a second to put them down for a nap. You just want to take 5 minutes and breathe this truth there that you are secure and you're loved today. Would you go today believing that you are loved, you're cared for, you're seen and known and heard? We love you. Go in that this week. It may be more true for you today than it was yesterday. See you all next Sunday. Have a great week.